11 things you should quietly eliminate from your life. Stoic secrets. He who is brave is free. Seneca. You would be incredibly brave if you dared to eliminate these 11 things that negatively affect your life. Because life constantly challenges us with distractions, negativity, and unnecessary complications. But what if I told you that the biggest obstacles to your happiness and growth are not external? In today's video, we reveal 11 things you should silently eliminate from your life, inspired by the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy. By removing these mental and emotional burdens, you will unlock your potential to live a life filled with peace, authenticity, and purpose. Get ready to simplify, focus, and protect your inner peace. Let's explore how we can free ourselves from the things that hold us back. Welcome to Stoic Secrets. Number 1. Toxic people. In life, we all encounter individuals who, whether intentionally or not, drain our energy, disturb our peace, and hinder our personal growth. These toxic people have a remarkable ability to create chaos, even in the most peaceful settings. Their presence can significantly affect our emotional and mental well-being, often in subtle but profound ways. The toxic person in your life could be a manipulative friend, a colleague who undermines you, or even a family member whose actions harm your emotions. Over time, these individuals can slowly erode your sense of self, leaving you feeling anxious, drained, or frustrated. The first step in freeing yourself from these toxic people is to stop justifying their behavior. It's easy to rationalize their actions, especially if they've been a part of your life for a long time. We may tell ourselves that they're going through a tough time, or that they didn't mean to hurt us. However, we must ask ourselves, how much are we willing to tolerate in the name of loyalty or compassion? Stoicism teaches us to prioritize internal peace above external influences. As Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." While we cannot control others, we can control how we respond to them. By distancing yourself from toxic individuals, you are protecting your emotional and mental health. This doesn't require confrontation or justification. It simply requires you to prioritize your well-being. Setting boundaries may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if the person has been in your life for years, but it is a necessary act of self-care. Stoic wisdom reminds us that we have the power to choose how we respond to others. As Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." By disengaging from toxic individuals, you take control of your emotional landscape, which leads to a clearer, calmer, and more focused life. Toxic people may attempt to return to your life, often asking for help or support. This can be challenging, especially if you feel guilty or obligated. However, it's important to remember that you are not obligated to offer assistance to those who have shown a lack of respect, trust, or consideration. Saying no is not cruelty, it is self-respect. Stoicism teaches that we should not let our emotions be dictated by external circumstances. Saying no is an act of emotional strength and clarity, reaffirming your commitment to your own well-being. Eliminating toxic relationships allows you to protect your peace and create space for personal growth. Toxic people take up space that could be used for positive pursuits, stifling your potential. As you begin to remove these negative influences, your life will become more focused, your mind clearer, and your energy redirected toward more fulfilling endeavors. This transformation may take time, but the more you distance yourself from negativity, the more room you make for positivity, growth, and peace. In modern Stoicism, we understand that letting go of harmful relationships isn't just about removing negativity. It's about making conscious choices that align with our values and personal development. Remember, you are not required to maintain relationships that drain you. You have control over which relationships you nurture. Your peace, well-being, and growth should always be your top priorities. Stoicism teaches that we are responsible for the quality of our lives, and that includes the relationships we choose. By eliminating toxic influences, you are engaging in a powerful act of self-care. It's not selfish, it's wise. To be the best version of yourself, you must first create an environment that supports your emotional, mental, and physical health. Letting go of toxic relationships may be difficult at first, but it is one of the most liberating acts you can make. Emotional independence and clarity of mind, as the Stoics knew, are essential to living a purposeful and fulfilling life. By eliminating those who disrupt your peace, you create space for a life that is aligned with your true self, free from chaos and negativity. Number 2. Unnecessary goals. In today's rapidly evolving world, we are constantly bombarded by external expectations, societal pressures, constant comparisons, and a relentless drive to measure up make it easy to lose sight of our own desires and values. Whether it's the pursuit of wealth, status, or social approval, many of us set goals that are shaped more by what others expect of us than by our own long-term happiness. These goals, while often seeming desirable or impressive, may not bring us true fulfillment and, in fact, can lead us further from what we truly want in life. The ancient Stoics, whose wisdom remains timeless, understood that true happiness and wisdom come from aligning our actions with our authentic purpose and core values. They taught us that not all goals are worth pursuing. In fact, many of them are distractions that divert us from the path of true fulfillment. As Plato said, "The greatest wealth is to live content with little." This statement calls for simplicity, focusing on what truly matters instead of constantly seeking more. The Stoics believed that contentment is found not in acquiring external things, but in cultivating an internal life of purpose. When we pause to reflect on our goals, it becomes clear that many of them have been shaped by the expectations of others or societal norms, rather than our own desires. While this realization can be difficult, it is an essential step in personal growth. Recognizing that certain goals no longer serve our well-being or align with our true selves is not a failure, but an opportunity for self-awareness and realignment. It's a sign of maturity, showing that we are learning to prioritize what truly matters to us. Letting go of these unnecessary goals does not require grand gestures or public declarations. It's a quiet, internal decision. We don't need the approval of others to redirect our focus or make changes. By quietly releasing what no longer serves us, we begin to clear away distractions and make space for goals that align with our true values and purpose. In practicing modern Stoicism, we learn that fulfillment comes not from pursuing societal markers of success, but from dedicating ourselves to the goals that are in harmony with who we really are. Discretion is key in this process. Not every decision needs to be shared with the world. In fact, the more private our shifts in direction, the more they remain protected from external pressures or criticism. This silent adjustment is an expression of resilience, a way of staying true to our values without unnecessary interference. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminded us, "Don't go on discussing what a good person should be. Be one." This speaks to the power of action over words, showing us that living according to our values, regardless of external opinion, is what truly defines us. By eliminating unnecessary goals, we create space for more meaningful, fulfilling pursuits. When we stop chasing after what others deem important, we can focus on what truly brings us peace and satisfaction, whether or not it fits the conventional mold of success. This doesn't just simplify life, it allows us to live authentically, spending our time and energy on things that truly matter. In this way, we reclaim our power and our peace, living a life that is truly our own, driven by our purpose rather than external validation. This shift in perspective is not only a victory in personal growth, but also a practice in control, one of the central tenets of Stoic philosophy. The Stoics taught us to focus on what is within our control, our thoughts, actions, and intentions, while letting go of the things we cannot change. In today's world, we cannot control others' opinions or societal expectations, but we can choose which goals to pursue and which to release. This power of choice is liberating, allowing us to cultivate lives that reflect our true selves, rather than the demands of the outside world. Living authentically in this way isn't just about applying Stoic principles in theory, it's about embodying them. As you begin to identify and release goals that no longer serve you, you start to embrace a life that is not defined by the opinions of others, but by your own core values. This is the essence of modern Stoicism. True happiness and fulfillment come not from external achievements or social markers of success, but from living a life in alignment with our deepest convictions. By taking time to reflect on your goals, eliminating what no longer serves you, and focusing on what truly matters, you will cultivate a sense of inner peace and purpose, and ultimately become the person you were always meant to be. Number 3. Privacy in relationships. In every relationship, whether it's a close friendship, a romantic connection, or even a professional bond, there is an intimacy that requires respect and protection, especially when things go wrong. When relationships end, the emotional aftermath often leaves us feeling vulnerable and exposed. During these times, it can be tempting to share the details of what happened, to explain the fallout, seek validation, or justify our pain. The urge to tell your side of the story is strong. However, while sharing might provide temporary comfort, it can often lead to more harm than good, bringing unnecessary gossip, misunderstandings, and emotional distress that can hinder your healing process. One of the key Stoic secrets lies in learning how to honor your emotions privately. This doesn't mean keeping secrets for the sake of deception, but rather protecting your dignity and that of others involved. Stoicism teaches that our thoughts and emotions are within our control. Rather than rushing to explain what happened, it's crucial to take time to reflect on what the experience taught you. Every relationship, whether romantic or platonic, offers valuable lessons, and processing these privately allows you to approach your emotions with maturity and respect. When a relationship ends, especially one that was meaningful, it often feels like an emotional roller coaster. The impulse to explain everything to others is strong, but this can lead to constructing a narrative that may not reflect the full truth. The more you share, the more you invite judgment from others, judgment that may be based on partial information. This external input can create unnecessary confusion and prevent you from healing. Instead of embracing the chaos of external opinions, Stoicism teaches the quiet strength of maintaining discretion. By keeping intimate details private, you protect both your emotional well-being and the dignity of the other person involved. In today's world, it's easy to feel the need to share every detail, the highs, the lows, the conflicts, and the resolutions with everyone around us. Social media, in particular, makes it simple to seek comfort in likes, comments, and sympathy from others. But this often opens the door to a whirlwind of opinions, many of which only add to your emotional burden. Take, for example, a friend who, heartbroken after a breakup, posts about their pain online. In the moment, sharing the hurt can feel validating. But soon, they are bombarded with judgments and advice from people who don't know the full story. This only deepens their emotional entanglement, making it harder to heal. Why does this happen? It happens because they've neglected the Stoic principle of owning their own emotions. When we share something that's still raw, we invite the external world's judgments, which distract us from our healing process. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control external events, but we can control how we respond to them. We can choose which thoughts and feelings deserve our focus and which we let go. Maintaining privacy in relationships isn't about secrecy. It's about respecting yourself and others. It's about giving yourself the time and space to process your emotions without the interference of outside judgment or expectations. By choosing to keep things private, you maintain control over your emotional healing. You are not seeking validation from others, nor are you exposing yourself to judgment that could delay your recovery. This quiet strength, the ability to process internally, allows you to move forward free from unnecessary emotional baggage. So, ask yourself, when was the last time you respected the privacy of your own feelings? When did you give yourself the space to heal without the need to explain or seek validation? In a world full of distractions, true peace comes from respecting your own internal process. By practicing quiet discretion, you honor both your integrity and emotional well-being. Remember, not everything needs to be shared. Some things are meant to remain private, not because they are shameful, but because they are part of your personal growth. Through maintaining privacy, you create the opportunity to heal, grow, and move forward in peace. This is one of the most powerful Stoic secrets. True strength lies in the quiet act of protecting your inner world and respecting the boundaries of your emotional life. When we learn to maintain these boundaries, we can navigate life's challenges with greater resilience, clarity, and freedom from the distractions of others' judgments. If you've made it this far, you've truly aligned with the wisdom of the universe. Leave a comment saying, "Protect your emotions, respect yourself," to show your commitment to listening and acting on the messages around you. Stay with us. Your transformation journey has only just begun. Number 4. Anger and frustration. Anger, when left unchecked, can disrupt our lives and rob us of peace of mind. It's an intense emotion that, if not managed, can lead to regrettable actions. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to fall into frustration, whether at work, home, or while interacting with others. However, in modern Stoicism, we learn that anger doesn't have to control us. Rather than suppressing it or acting out destructively, Stoicism teaches us to recognize and transform anger into something constructive. Anger can be redirected into energy that serves our long-term goals, rather than dictating our immediate reactions. The key is to first acknowledge the anger without judgment. Instead of acting impulsively, we can channel that emotion into focused action, be it refining a skill, releasing physical tension, or solving a problem. By doing so, we regain control and avoid rash decisions. This approach isn't about repressing feelings, but about exercising emotional intelligence, which helps us use our energy wisely. For instance, when faced with a frustrating situation, take a moment to pause and reflect. Ask yourself if the cause is something beyond your control, like a sudden challenge at work or a disagreement with a loved one. Recognizing that these emotions are natural but not productive when expressed hastily is crucial. By simply observing your anger, you begin to regain control over it. Instead of engaging in unproductive conflicts, redirect your frustration to focus on what truly matters. This could mean using the energy to improve your work, strengthen a skill, or address a challenging task with a calm mind. In doing so, you prevent anger from steering you toward regretful actions, and instead transform it into a powerful force for progress. Stoicism also teaches us to reflect on our emotions in order to understand their root causes. Anger often stems from deeper feelings like insecurity, misunderstanding, or external circumstances that feel beyond our control. By acknowledging these emotions without judgment, we gain the clarity needed to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. This reflective practice helps us grow in wisdom and emotional resilience. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely noted, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is a fundamental aspect of Stoic philosophy. While we can't control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. By becoming more aware of our emotional triggers, we can begin to redirect our energy from frustration to personal growth. In today's world, many of us are conditioned to externalize frustration, seeking validation from others or expressing anger openly. However, Stoicism encourages a more internal approach, one that values emotional control and resilience. Rather than lashing out at others, the Stoic keeps their emotions in check, handling them privately and thoughtfully. This practice not only preserves our dignity, but also helps to de-escalate situations, turning potential conflict into opportunities for calm resolution. The more we practice emotional restraint, the more we develop the ability to remain composed under pressure. Over time, you'll notice that anger becomes less of a reflex and more an energy you can focus on productive action. True strength, according to Stoicism, lies in remaining rational and composed, no matter what external pressures we face. By practicing this, we transform anger from an obstacle into a tool for personal growth and effective action. The Stoic approach to anger is about self-mastery. By acknowledging our emotions, understanding their causes, and redirecting them toward positive outcomes, we don't just diminish the impact of frustration, we turn it into a catalyst for progress. This is the essence of Stoic wisdom. Through controlling our internal state, we gain the freedom to act with clarity, wisdom, and composure. By embracing modern Stoicism, we become better at channeling emotional energy in ways that serve our best interests, rather than allowing it to disrupt our lives. As Seneca reminds us, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." By applying the Stoic mindset to our frustrations, we refine ourselves and become the best versions of who we are meant to be. Number 5. Gossip and judgments. In the modern world, where opinions are shared freely and judgments are quick, engaging in gossip or judgmental conversations can be one of the most damaging habits to our peace of mind and our relationships. Gossip, often rooted in insecurity or a desire to feel superior, doesn't merely diminish the integrity of those involved. It also creates unnecessary negativity in the environment. It may seem harmless at first, but the ripple effects of gossip are vast. It fuels distrust and makes us less likely to connect on a deeper, more meaningful level with others. This idea echoes the Stoic teaching of focusing on what is in our control. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." In this context, we can interpret this wisdom as a call to remove the unnecessary chatter and distractions of the world around us, including gossip, which does nothing but cloud our minds and divert our energy from what truly matters. Instead of contributing to the noise and negativity, redirect your energy toward actions that are purposeful and positive. Whether it's focusing on your personal growth, lifting others up, or improving situations, this shift in focus not only enriches your life, but also elevates those around you. Negative judgments, much like gossip, often have no basis in truth and are shaped by incomplete information. When we rush to judge, we forget that each person carries their own struggles, circumstances, and battles, things we can never fully understand from the outside. As Marcus Aurelius wisely noted, reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears. This can be applied here to remind us that when we let go of judgment, we free ourselves from the emotional weight of resentment and misinterpretation. Choosing not to engage in gossip or judgments isn't just an act of restraint, it is a sign of strength, emotional maturity, and a deep commitment to personal growth. It reflects your ability to understand that peace begins within yourself, not through the approval or disapproval of others. Modern Stoicism emphasizes that the only person we can truly control is ourselves. The way we respond to others' behavior and words is always within our power. By practicing compassion, seeking understanding, and focusing on the internal rather than external factors, we contribute to creating a more respectful and supportive environment. This shift toward empathy does more than strengthen our character. It fosters a culture of mutual respect and shared humanity. Moreover, eliminating gossip and judgment helps us avoid the toxic patterns of comparison and conflict that often plague our relationships. In today's hyper-connected world, it's easy to get caught up in the judgments of others, especially when it's so easy to form an opinion from a distance or in fleeting moments. But by choosing to stay centered in our own truth and embracing diplomacy, we remain rooted in the values that align with both our personal and collective well-being. This shift in mindset cultivates not only a more harmonious environment, but also enriches the quality of the relationships we nurture. This principle of emotional self-governance is a quiet act of integrity. While others may engage in idle chatter or make harsh judgments, you maintain your focus on cultivating an inner peace that transcends the noise of the world. By eliminating these destructive habits, you create a space where understanding and compassion can flourish, both within yourself and in the lives of those around you. Your decision to disengage from gossip and judgment becomes a powerful reflection of your commitment to personal development and modern Stoicism. It is a subtle but profound practice that enhances the richness of your interactions and nurtures the peace that comes from living a life aligned with your values. As you embark on your journey, remember, every choice you make, however small, contributes to the world you are shaping. Just as we cannot control the winds, but we can adjust our sails. We cannot control others' words or actions, but we can always choose how we respond. Let go of the urge to gossip and judge, and you will find that not only does your personal peace increase, but the world around you becomes a more serene and supportive place. Number 6. Comparisons. In today's world, it's nearly impossible to escape the constant bombardment of success stories, whether it's the filtered images on social media or the headlines celebrating someone else's accomplishments. The pressure to measure up can be overwhelming. You've probably found yourself scrolling through your feed, seeing someone else's achievements, their flawless appearance, or their seemingly perfect life, and feeling a sudden rush of insecurity. You ask yourself, why haven't I reached that point yet? Or why do they have it all figured out while I'm still struggling? But here's the truth. Constantly comparing yourself to others only leads to frustration, dissatisfaction, and self-doubt. It creates a toxic cycle where you feel like you're falling short, constantly chasing an idealized version of success that may not even align with your true desires. And this cycle leaves you stuck, feeling as though you're never good enough, no matter what you do. The Stoic secrets provide us with a much-needed solution to this modern dilemma. The Stoics teach us that true happiness and contentment don't come from comparing our lives to others, but from focusing on our own path, progress and growth. In fact, they understood a profound truth. Life isn't about measuring yourself against anyone else. It's about striving to become the best version of yourself. Your journey is uniquely yours, just as theirs is to them. The world often shows us only snippets of other people's lives, often their highlight reels, the perfect photos, the best moments, the accomplishments that seem flawless. But what we don't see are the sleepless nights, the personal struggles, the failures, and the sacrifices that others have made to get where they are. When you compare yourself to these edited versions of others, you're unfairly measuring your entire life against a small fragment of theirs. It's not a fair or accurate comparison, and it only leaves you feeling inadequate. Imagine a gardener tending to their own plot of land. They don't look at someone else's garden and feel discouraged. They don't measure their plants against someone else's. Instead, they focus on their own patch of earth, patiently watering, nourishing, and caring for each plant in its own time. They trust the process, knowing that with consistent care, their garden will flourish. This is how you should approach your life. It's not about how quickly you grow compared to someone else, but about nurturing your own development and trusting the journey. Every step you take, no matter how small, is progress, and that's what matters. The Stoic mindset encourages us to be fully present in our own lives, recognizing that every individual faces their own battles. Just because someone's life looks perfect on the outside doesn't mean they haven't faced their own share of challenges. It's easy to forget that behind the glossy photos and inspirational posts, there are real people with real struggles. Comparing your life to theirs is not only unfair, it's unnecessary. What matters most is not how others are doing, but how you continue to move forward. Even if your progress seems small or slow, every step forward is a victory in itself. By letting go of the constant need to compare, you create space for gratitude. You begin to appreciate your own journey, whether it's filled with victories, setbacks, or challenges. The energy you once spent on envy and comparison can now be redirected toward acknowledging the unique progress you're making. And here's the real freedom that comes from embracing this approach. When you focus on your own path and stop comparing it to others, you cultivate self-love and self-acceptance. These two powerful forces are the bedrock of a peaceful, fulfilled life. Without them, it's nearly impossible to experience true contentment or inner peace. So, the next time you feel the urge to compare yourself to someone else, stop for a moment. Ask yourself, what is my journey truly about? What can I learn from where I am right now? What are my unique strengths that will help me move forward? By shifting your focus inward, away from others, you unlock the power of Stoic secrets. You'll find not only peace, but also a deep, lasting sense of fulfillment as you embrace your own growth. Remember, you're not here to be anyone else. You are here to be the best version of yourself, to embrace your path with all its ups and downs, and to celebrate the person you are becoming. Focus on your own journey, trust the process, and the rest will follow. If you've made it this far, you're a true seeker of wisdom and personal growth. Leave a comment below with the tagline, "Compare yourself only to yourself," or share your thoughts on letting go of comparisons to others and focusing on your own unique journey. How are you applying this mindset to nurture and love yourself every day? Stay with us. There's more to this journey of self-discovery and growth that you shouldn't miss. Number 7. Social media overuse. In today's digital age, social media is an undeniable force, connecting us with people, ideas, and entertainment. However, when used mindlessly, it can significantly impact our mental health, skew our self-esteem, and create unrealistic expectations. The images of perfect lives we see online can breed dissatisfaction and unhealthy comparisons, leaving us feeling like we are not measuring up. From a modern Stoic perspective, we should carefully examine how these external influences shape our thoughts and actions. Stoicism teaches that while we cannot control the actions of others, we do have control over how we respond to them. As Epictetus said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Contentment does not come from external validation, but from mastering our own desires and maintaining inner control. Social media is no different. It should be a tool we use with purpose, not something that controls our thoughts and actions. To regain control over your social media use, it's essential to be intentional about how and when you engage with it. Setting boundaries around your usage, such as checking accounts at specific times, can prevent mindless scrolling and reclaim your precious time. Think of social media as a tool that can enrich your life, not something that demands your constant attention. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, emphasizes the importance of action over distraction, writing, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." The same applies here. If social media no longer adds value to your life, it's time to step back and create distance. Doing so helps you reclaim your focus, clarity, and time, which are far more valuable. Taking breaks from social media allows you to reconnect with the real world and recenter yourself. Rather than getting lost in endless feeds, step outside, enjoy nature, or spend quality time with loved ones. Simple activities like a walk in the park or reading a book can restore your balance and bring you back to the present. Reflect on the content you consume. Does it contribute positively to your life or just distract you from reality? If social media leaves you feeling inadequate or envious, it's time to reassess your relationship with it. Just as Stoicism teaches us to focus only on what we can control, when social media triggers negative emotions, you are allowing it to control your thoughts. Social media should be a tool for enrichment, not a source of comparison or distraction. Instead of using it to escape from life's challenges or compare yourself to others, aim to use it to learn, grow, and nurture genuine relationships. When used intentionally, social media can enhance your well-being, but it should not replace the depth and richness of real-world experiences, such as in-person interactions or time spent outdoors. In modern Stoicism, we learn to engage with technology in moderation. We don't reject it, but we use it with awareness, without letting it dictate our lives. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Social media can easily become a time sink, drawing us into cycles of comparison and distraction. Instead, we should use it to live more fully and grow as individuals. Mindful consumption of social media is crucial for preserving mental health and emotional resilience. The digital world should never replace the deeper, more meaningful experiences that come from direct engagement with the world around us. By choosing what content to consume and limiting the time spent on social media, you create space for personal growth and development. The Stoics remind us that we have the power to choose what we expose ourselves to, whether it's content, relationships, or experiences. If it doesn't serve our well-being, it's not worth holding on to. Instead of mindlessly scrolling, choose to engage with content that promotes growth, knowledge, and connection. While social media is a pervasive force in modern life, it doesn't have to be a source of distraction or dissatisfaction. By applying the principles of modern Stoicism, we can use social media thoughtfully, ensuring it serves our personal growth and well-being rather than controlling our attention. By setting clear boundaries, engaging with content mindfully, and taking breaks to reconnect with the real world, we protect our peace of mind and create room for more fulfilling experiences. Remember that your time and focus are valuable. Social media, when used mindfully, can enhance your life. But when used recklessly, it can drain your energy and peace. Take control and prioritize your mental and emotional health. Your true self will thank you for it. Number 8. External approval. In a society where external validation often shapes our choices, it's easy to get caught in a cycle of seeking approval and measuring our worth against others' expectations. This pursuit for recognition, though tempting, can be draining and, in the end, unsatisfying. Modern Stoicism teaches us that genuine fulfillment arises not from the opinions of others, but from aligning our actions with our true selves. By turning our focus inward, we reclaim our power, freeing ourselves from unspoken judgments. As Marcus Aurelius once wisely said, "The opinion of 10,000 men is worth nothing if none of them knows you." This quote highlights how superficial external approval is. It often comes from ignorance, and it doesn't truly define who we are. When we live for the approval of others, we risk losing touch with our own values and desires. Instead of making decisions based on our inner compass, we begin to prioritize the expectations imposed by society, friends, or family. The focus shifts from authenticity to image, leading to frustration when we realize that the approval we seek is often fleeting, hollow, or unattainable. The Stoics understood that true happiness comes from internal harmony, not external validation. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This highlights that peace of mind is not contingent upon external circumstances, but on how we choose to respond to them. Living authentically requires prioritizing our own needs and trusting ourselves. It's a brave act to follow your own path, regardless of how others might perceive it. When we trust our own judgment, we can make choices that reflect who we truly are, not who others think we should be. This self-trust is the foundation of personal fulfillment. You begin to act based on what resonates with your true essence, not on the desire for validation. The ancient Stoic advice to know thyself urges us to seek wisdom from within, rather than relying on the approval of others. Modern Stoicism emphasizes the importance of acting in alignment with our own values, rather than conforming to external expectations. Letting go of the need for external approval opens the door to genuine self-expression. We can explore and express who we truly are, free from the fear of judgment. This shift brings with it an opportunity for personal growth and empowerment. Instead of focusing on what others think, we can focus on what brings us joy, peace, and fulfillment. Celebrating even small victories strengthens our sense of self-worth and resilience. As Seneca wisely said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. By letting go of imagined expectations, we reduce unnecessary suffering and embrace a more peaceful existence. The relationships that matter most are those that encourage us to live authentically. Surrounding ourselves with people who support us and help us grow allows us to be our true selves without fear of judgment. These are the relationships that create a safe space for us to flourish and pursue our values. It's not about the number of relationships we have, but the depth of the connections we share with those who respect and trust us. Engaging with individuals who uplift us further strengthens our ability to stand firm in our values and remain true to ourselves. Freeing ourselves from the need for external approval enables us to live in alignment with our core values. Rather than chasing after societal markers of success, we focus on goals that are meaningful to us. True fulfillment comes not from conformity, but from living authentically and embracing who we truly are. The Stoics emphasize self-control and inner clarity for this very reason. In a world that pressures us to conform, choosing authenticity over external approval is an act of radical self-respect. By letting go of the need for validation, we open ourselves to a life led by our deepest values and desires, ultimately leading to lasting fulfillment. As Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, said, "Well-being is attained little by little, and nevertheless is no little thing itself." Embracing authenticity and rejecting external validation is a lifelong journey that leads to a more meaningful and fulfilling life. Number 9. Secrecy in relationships. In every relationship, whether romantic or platonic, there is an intimacy that requires privacy and respect, especially when things go wrong. We all face moments when relationships fall apart. Maybe it's a breakup, a falling out with a friend, or a conflict at work. During these times, it's tempting to share the details with others, to vent, to explain what happened, to seek validation. We may even try to justify our actions or feelings, hoping that someone will offer us comfort or perspective. But as satisfying as it may seem in the moment, this desire to talk about what went wrong often does more harm than good. By airing the details of your personal life, you invite gossip, misunderstandings, and emotional distress. Not only does this make the situation more complicated for you, but it also drags the other person involved into the mess, often without their consent. Think about it. When you share intimate details about a relationship, you're essentially painting a picture for others who may not understand the full story. Their opinions can cloud your judgment and prolong your healing. So, what's the Stoic secret here? Keep the details private. It's not about hiding things out of shame. It's about honoring the emotional space of yourself and the other person. This practice allows you to process your emotions, reflect on the lessons learned, and heal without the interference of others' judgments. I recently had a conversation with a friend who had just gone through a difficult breakup. In the midst of her pain, she felt compelled to share everything on social media, every detail of the heartache, the misunderstandings, and the raw feelings she was experiencing. For a moment, it felt like a release, getting validation from friends and strangers who offered sympathy. But soon, she found herself overwhelmed by the opinions of people who didn't know the full story. Some people even criticized her actions, while others gave unsolicited advice. The more she shared, the more entangled she became in others' judgments, and the harder it became for her to heal. The external noise only added to the emotional weight she was carrying. This story highlights the Stoic principle of owning your emotions and experiences without external validation. When we open up about something that is still raw, we allow others to shape our healing process, which can distract us from finding our own peace. By practicing discretion and keeping the intimate details of relationships private, you protect your emotional well-being and avoid the emotional complications that come with external opinions. It's important to reflect on your emotions and experiences without the need for others to weigh in. This is how you maintain control over your own healing process. In the modern world, where social media makes it so easy to share everything, we often feel compelled to tell the world our side of the story. It can feel like a way to seek comfort, to show others that we are right, or to gain sympathy. But the truth is, sharing these details rarely brings the peace we seek. Instead, it often leaves us more entangled in our emotions and judgments. So take a moment and ask yourself, how often do you feel the need to share your personal experiences with others, especially when they are still raw? When was the last time you respected your own emotional privacy and allowed yourself the time and space to heal without the interference of external voices? Remember, True strength lies in the quiet act of protecting your inner world. It's not about keeping secrets for the sake of hiding things, but about ensuring that your emotional process remains your own. When we choose to maintain privacy in relationships, we respect both ourselves and the other person involved. This act of discretion allows us to heal with dignity, free from unnecessary judgment and the weight of external opinions. By embracing this Stoic secret, you give yourself the gift of emotional maturity, the space to grow, and the opportunity to move forward in peace. So, as you continue to navigate your relationships, consider how you can practice more emotional discretion, both for your own well-being and for the people you care about. In doing so, you'll create more space for clarity, peace, and personal growth. We are so grateful to have you as a part of our community. Have you ever found yourself caught up in oversharing about your personal relationships? Sometimes we seek comfort from others, not realizing that oversharing can complicate things. Have you ever been in a situation like this? How did you handle protecting your emotional space? Share your thoughts and experiences with us so we can learn and grow together. Your story may inspire others. If you don't know where to start, don't worry. Just leave a comment saying, "Keep it private, protect your feelings." Let's continue this conversation. Your voice makes this space a place of inspiration and growth for all of us. Number 10. Unrealistic expectations. Unrealistic expectations can be a silent but powerful source of disappointment and frustration in our lives. Whether it's in our personal goals, relationships, or careers, when we set ourselves up to achieve perfection or chase impossible standards, we are essentially setting ourselves up for failure. This constant striving for unattainable ideals leaves us feeling inadequate and dissatisfied. Modern Stoicism offers a refreshing perspective, teaching us to embrace life as it is, with all its flaws and unpredictability. It encourages us to let go of perfection and instead accept the beauty and imperfection of life. Often, unrealistic expectations stem from external influences, societal pressures, media portrayals, and constant comparisons to others. These fabricated standards create a false picture of what life should look like, making it difficult to recognize our own unique desires, capabilities, and paths to fulfillment. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely stated, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. This shift in perspective invites us to let go of the pressure to meet others' ideals and instead focus on our own individual journey. When we live in pursuit of these unrealistic expectations, we often find ourselves perpetually chasing something just out of reach, resulting in dissatisfaction. By recognizing the artificial nature of these expectations and releasing them, we open ourselves up to a more peaceful and fulfilling existence. The Stoic approach to setting goals emphasizes the importance of aligning our expectations with reality. It is about acknowledging where we are in life, understanding our current limitations, and setting goals that allow for meaningful growth without the unnecessary burden of perfection. This approach helps us avoid the mental trap of constantly measuring ourselves against impossible standards. In modern life, this is especially relevant as we are constantly bombarded with curated images of success on social media or in the media, often creating an illusion of a flawless existence. Instead of focusing on what we lack or the endless list of things we should have achieved by now, Stoicism encourages us to turn our focus inward, appreciating what we already possess and the progress we've made. By adjusting our expectations to be more realistic, we begin to foster a deeper sense of gratitude for the present moment. Celebrating even the smallest achievements becomes a powerful practice. Rather than viewing life as a constant race to an elusive end goal, we start to recognize that the journey itself holds profound value. Stoic teachings advocate for a mindset shift where we find joy in the process of living, not in reaching a predefined destination. As Marcus Aurelius, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." When we embrace life's imperfections and stop obsessing over unattainable standards, we allow ourselves to experience greater satisfaction in the present, appreciating what we've accomplished rather than feeling frustrated by what we haven't. This shift toward realistic expectations is not about giving up on ambition or goals, but rather about learning to approach them with a mindset grounded in reality. By focusing on what we can control and accepting the natural flow of life, we can live with more peace of mind. In doing so, we can achieve more without the weight of unrealistic expectations dragging us down. The key lies in accepting that life is not always perfect, that setbacks are inevitable, and that it's okay not to have everything figured out. As Seneca famously said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." We waste time when we chase unattainable ideals instead of focusing on the present moment and appreciating our progress. By practicing this Stoic mindset of adjusting expectations, we open the door to greater happiness. Instead of allowing disappointment and frustration to dominate our lives, we can focus on what truly matters: the quality of our thoughts, the actions we take, and the way we embrace life as it is. This transformation allows us to experience life more fully, with all its imperfections, rather than constantly feeling like we're falling short of some idealized version of success. In the end, the Stoic way teaches us that true happiness is not found in perfection, but in the acceptance of life's natural rhythms and our ability to grow and adapt along the way. Number 11. Negativity. In today's fast-paced world, negativity and gossip are often woven into our daily lives, subtly affecting our mental well-being. While gossip may seem harmless or a way to connect, it drains our energy, disrupts our peace of mind, and breeds unnecessary conflict. Engaging in negative conversations not only erodes trust and respect, but also harms our own mental health. Stoic philosophy offers a remedy by teaching us to focus on what we can control and avoid engaging in harmful talk. Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This highlights the importance of cultivating a positive mindset and shifting our focus from the flaws of others to personal growth and kindness. Gossip damages more than just others' reputations. It undermines our integrity. Participating in harmful discussions drags us into a toxic cycle that erodes our character. Negative thoughts, whether directed inward or outward, do not foster peace or growth. Instead, they create resentment and emotional turmoil. Epictetus reminded us, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This can also apply to our mental wealth. By avoiding gossip, we direct our attention to what truly matters: inner peace, growth, and meaningful relationships. Negative talk often stems from insecurity, but we have the power to transcend these impulses. Modern Stoicism encourages us to focus on our responses and cultivate resilience. When we step away from gossip and negativity, we gain a more positive perspective. We begin practicing gratitude and focusing on the good in our lives, seeking solutions rather than dwelling on complaints. When negativity arises, we can ask ourselves, will my words help or harm? Will they contribute to growth or perpetuate dissatisfaction? This practice shifts conversations toward constructive dialogue and positivity. When gossip tempts us, we can choose silence, using our words thoughtfully to uplift others. Marcus Aurelius' words, If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Remind us that every conversation shapes our reality. Surrounding ourselves with positive, empathetic people is another powerful way to combat negativity. By cultivating a respectful environment, we encourage others to adopt the same mindset. Seneca wisely advised, associate with people who are likely to improve you. The quality of our relationships directly influences our lives, and distancing ourselves from negative influences opens space for authentic connections based on mutual respect and emotional intelligence. A supportive network fosters gratitude, patience, and understanding, helping to create an environment where negativity cannot thrive. Eliminating gossip and negativity is a continuous practice that strengthens our personal integrity. Every time we choose silence over harmful words, we move closer to becoming the best version of ourselves. This embodies the Stoic principle of virtue, where our actions reflect our values. By rejecting negativity, we enhance our relationships and cultivate inner peace and fulfillment. Silence, when used wisely, preserves our emotional well-being. In a world full of external distractions, choosing our words carefully demonstrates emotional maturity. Modern Stoicism teaches us to be architects of our mental and emotional landscape. The conversations we engage in, the people we surround ourselves with, and the energy we bring to the world shape our reality. By consciously eliminating negativity and gossip, we create space for positivity, respect, and understanding. This subtle act of choice becomes a powerful tool for personal growth. In a world beyond our control, we always have the power to decide how we respond and what we contribute. Let's be mindful of our words and actions, knowing the energy we put out will return to us. Thank you for watching this video on 11 things you should quietly eliminate from your life. Stoic secrets. Remember, the key to finding inner peace and personal fulfillment lies in removing distractions and focusing on what truly matters. By applying the Stoic principles we've discussed today, you're taking a significant step toward creating a more balanced and authentic life. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Stoic Secrets. Also, hit the notification bell so you won't miss out on our upcoming videos that will help guide you on your journey of growth and self-discovery. Thank you for being part of this community. Stay committed to your journey, embrace the Stoic way, and remember, every small action brings you closer to the life you deserve. See you in the next video.